Welcome to Everyday Reviews. If I were to ask you, what's the best-selling vehicle of all time? A couple favorites might be the Ford Model T, maybe the Volkswagen Beetle. Those are both very, very good contenders, especially when they were produced, which was a long time ago, and manufacturing wasn't as efficient as it is now. But the answer is the Toyota Corolla, which has sold over 50 million units. So today we're having a look at one new variation of the Corolla. This is the 2022 Corolla Hybrid. The Corolla Hybrid is based off of the newest Corolla sedan. Remember, there is a hatchback, so you have the new styling. It looks quite smart. Here you have a large lower grille area. You have this narrow headlight design. This does come standard with LED headlamps. And one thing I like about the Hybrid, it doesn't really look any different than the regular one. Just a few little subtleties. You have, of course, the badging in the back. This comes with 15-inch alloy rims. Now, one thing, I don't know why, same as on our Highlander Hybrid Limited, where you have alloy wheels, yet they cover it with a plastic cover. I don't know why. You know why? Leave it in the comment below. I guess it's handy if you scuff them up, you can just replace that cover. Onto the side here, you have 4 doors, of course. The doors open fairly wide, making it easy to get in and out of the back seat. And this Hybrid also comes with the proximity key, so just a touch there, it locks, and just grab it and it unlocks. That sensor is only for the front door though, it doesn't extend to the rear. We have a fuel filler here, so let's just click that. You see, uses regular fuel. This does not have a capless filler, so you still have a fuel cap. Hopefully they'll change that. I'm getting so used to so many cars having the capless filler now. And onto the back. The back is fairly tidy looking. Now on the Toyota Canada website, it doesn't say whether the back gets LED tail lamps or not, but when I'm looking closely at it, it looks like the actual tail lamps and the brake lights are LED, and the signal and the backup light is not. So make sure to check in your market. This is a Canadian spec vehicle, which is very similar to a US spec, but depending on what market you're in, it may be a little bit different. So let's take a look in the trunk. There is no hands-free option for the Corolla at all, so there is an electronics switch here. Up it comes. It is spring-loaded, and I've said this before, I'm so impressed with how much room there are in compact cars now, not just in the cargo area, but when we get inside, you'll see there. But here is my handy dandy large travel trunk. So you can see how big it is in here, and I was able to throw it in completely straight in. Of course, if we want to go sideways, we can go sideways. I could easily fit 2 of those trunks in here with quite a bit of room to spare. We still even have about 6 inches of height there, so lots of room. Be aware though that these trunk struts are exposed, so they don't suck into a little bit of a pocket or whatever, so you are going to lose a little bit of space on the sides. As you bring it down, you'll see in my Costco visit here that it will rub or hit on your objects that are taller. So let's have a look inside. The Corolla Hybrid does come quite well equipped. There really is only one trim package you can add on to the Hybrid, and that is the premium package. This one is not equipped with it, but if you do get the premium package, you do get the Softex leather seats, so the pleather seats. You get heated rear seats, a heated steering wheel, wireless charging, and the driver's seat is power operated. On this one, you get a manual driver's seat. You get cloth seats. You do have heated seats though, but no heated steering wheel, no wireless charging. And that premium package will cost you $2,000. I would get it, but you know what? If you don't need the heated rear seats or the heated steering wheel, depending on where you live, you could save yourself a couple $1,000. We'll get to price in a second. So when you sit in this vehicle, everything is close at hand. We have a 7-inch instrument display in behind the steering wheel and an 8-inch touchscreen in the center. That comes standard. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto also come with it. The backup camera and the resolution is fairly good on this screen. Below you do have automatic climate control, just a single zone, but it's still nice to have, easy to use. The hybrid only comes in an automatic or a CVT. So you have your shifter, you have your drive mode, an EV mode button, which we will try out in a second, electronic parking brake, and also auto brake hold. There are two USBs up front here for connectivity. One up near the passenger side, and that's a USB type A, and there is a type C as well as a 12-volt outlet in the small little middle compartment. It is quite small. This one is not equipped with a sunroof though, and there is no option to get a sunroof on this particular model. Overall, it's quite functional. However, we just recently tested the new Honda Civic, and I really do think that interior for a compact vehicle is the one to beat right now. It just has a way more premium feel, but there's nothing wrong with this. It's just everything works. Everything is exactly where it's supposed to be, and it's very, very comfortable to sit and drive in here. Sometimes it's the small things that impress me, and in this case, it's 4 things that impress me. You have auto up-down for all 4 windows. That's a big bonus. Nowadays, I don't know why, a lot of manufacturers only have just the driver's side, or maybe the driver and the passenger, but the rear windows aren't. It's just so nice, and just pull them up. Also, those rear windows actually go all the way down, so it's nice and even, not like some that actually go halfway. Let's have a look in the back. In the rear, nothing really fancy, but very, very functional. We do have a nice armrest with 2 drink holders in the middle. These seats also fold 60/40. You do have latch anchors for car seats on both left and right side. Nothing in the middle though. You do have a middle seat belt, but when you sit in here, it's surprising, just like the trunk, how much room there is. So you can see there is ample foot room, good knee room. This front seat is set to where I'd be sitting, but what's more impressive is the headroom. Very, very comfortable headrests back here, absolutely. One thing about this hybrid, there is no compromise when it comes to room. The hip room, the leg room, the head room, shoulder room, everything is identical to the non-hybrid, just a straight gasoline version, as well as the cargo in the trunk. That space is exactly the same area too, which is really, really nice. This hybrid has a 40-liter gas tank, which is a little bit smaller than the straight gasoline version. And I'm thinking they probably used some of that space to place the battery for the hybrid system. And because they did that, you get all the regular room that you'd get in a Corolla, which is awesome. In the middle, there is a small hump, and above that, there is a little compartment, but there is no air vent or other USB connections for the rear passengers here. Let's go for a drive. All right, let's put the pedal to the metal here with this Corolla hybrid. Okay, all joking aside, if you want the most engaging, spirited driving vehicle, you're not going to be shopping for a Corolla hybrid. So don't fool yourself. This is not supposed to be that type of vehicle. What this vehicle is, it's a great form of transportation that's going to save you a lot of money down the road, because this engine is thrifty. So first of all, under the hood, a 1.8 liter 4-cylinder engine, and that's matched to the hybrid Synergy drive. Altogether, you have a whopping 121 horsepower, and that goes through an eCVT, so that's electronic continuously variable transmission. So if you choose one of the other Corolla power plants, there is a 1.8 non-hybrid engine that puts out 139 horsepower, so a little bit more, about 20 horsepower more, give or take, than the hybrid. And then there is the 2-liter 4-cylinder, and that's found in the SE and the XSE. Those are the sportier versions, and that one has 169 horsepower, and that one also is comes with a direct shift CVT. So we tried that out in the Corolla hatch. What that has, it's kind of a hybrid transmission in a way, because it actually has an actual first gear. So you don't have that kind of bogged down initial start that you normally get that's associated with CVTs. That is not available with this eCVT. If you don't go for the hybrid version, you can also get a manual 6-speed transmission in the Corolla as well. So if you're into rolling your own gears, the hybrid is not going to be the one for you. But if you are into saving money at the pumps, this is the one. Now get this, fuel economy wise, this actually gets better fuel economy in the city than it does on the highway, which is kind of opposite of what you normally find. Usually the highway, you get the best economy. So this is rated at 4.4 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 4.5 on the highway. Combined is 4.5, which is incredible. So in the city, if you're driving a lot of city driving, this is almost getting twice the fuel economy as the standard non-hybrid version. So that is a big plus. So if you are a delivery driver, for instance, Uber driver, rideshare, any of those things that you're driving in the city a lot, you're idling or stopping at lights, stop and go traffic, this is going to be your best bet for efficiency. When the small fuel tank is filled up, you actually get a range of about 1,000 kilometers on this thing. That's incredible, 1,000K. So this thing really does sip fuel, and it's a nice compromise if you don't want to get a plug-in hybrid or a pure EV and you still want to save money at the pumps. This is really going to work. There are different drive modes. There's eco, there is power, and then there's normal. So let's go on power. And also beside that, we have EV mode, which if we put on EV mode, you can just go on straight electricity. Remember, this is not a plug-in hybrid. You can't go for a long time, but maybe, in your complex or down your subdivision or something like that. So in power mode, it's probably not going to revert to the EV mode as often. We're going to use more of that gasoline engine, but let's just see. Okay, that's to the floor. We weren't going really fast. Once again, not a sports car, not a muscle car. It's adequate. It's adequate though. It really is what it is, and don't try to make it something that it's not. So if we go into regular normal or eco, what I find though is that since this is such a smaller vehicle than, let's say, our hybrid Highlander, you can stay in that EV mode for longer, and it actually reverts to the EV mode more often because it doesn't have all that weight to carry. So we are just waiting at a light here. We're just crawling around, and I can just gently press the pedal. We're just rolling, and I'm under power, but the gasoline engine is not kicking on. We're gonna go up a hill here in a second though. That's gonna change things probably. Let's try to keep some speed here. It's kind of fun. It's almost like a game. There we go. Okay, the gasoline engine just kicked in, but it goes in and out, and it's quite seamless. There's no vibration really that happens. You just kind of hear that gasoline engine kick on. As for handling wise, one thing I wish you could get on this hybrid version is the Apex version. And so the Apex version, you can get it on the SE trim, which is the non-hybrid model, and that gives you, first of all, a really cool body kit. So cosmetically, it looks very sporty, but also a sport-tuned suspension, which I think this is kind of in need of because the suspension is very soft. It makes it very comfortable to drive and ride in, but with the soft suspension and these tires are quite big. The sidewall is quite tall on them, so there's a lot of flex. So if you want to do some quick evasive maneuvers, it just feels like there's quite a bit of a delay happening because you have to wait for things to happen. So different wheels with a lower profile tire would help that, or a firmer suspension for sure. But I've been showing you these images of the Apex version because I really think that it does look pretty cool. Okay, there we go, to the floor. This will not be my most exciting performance review. However, there is a lot of value to this Corolla hybrid. So first of all, you get that hybrid system. You get Toyota Safety Sense 2.0 as standard equipment here in Canada. So what does that give you? You get the blind spot monitoring, you get the lane tracing, the rear cross traffic alert, the radar adaptive cruise control. That all comes standard on this. And you get a lot of standard options. As we mentioned, this comes fairly loaded for a Corolla. So it's hard to actually compare it to other models of the Corolla because some of them have things that this one can't have, like the sunroof, for instance. So if you compare this, let's say, to the XLE, that's the trim level we have in Canada, which is the 1.8 liter non-hybrid version. It's fully that's pretty well the fully loaded version. That is about $27,000. This one starts at $25,000, but with that $2,000 upgrade package, it brings it almost to the same price. So they're not exactly the same. With the XLE non-hybrid, you are getting bigger rims, you are getting a sunroof, you're also getting more power, but other than that, kind of pretty well the same vehicle. So my bet would be on this one because it's just going to get you the best fuel economy. It's going to save you a lot of money. And the best thing about it is, in the past, the hybrid versions of vehicles were always a large premium. You paid more for them, quite a bit more. And in this case, it's almost the same price. So to me, it's a no-brainer. I'll sacrifice 20 horsepower for, to save a lot more money at the pumps. The Corolla franchise has been expanding over the years. You have different body styles now. You have the sedan that we're driving right now. You have the hatchback. You have different powertrains. You have the new Corolla Cross, which is their mini utility, and that's going to be available with all-wheel drive. And then you have the Thrifty hybrid that we're driving here. And because of all these different Corollas, I think that's just going to cement their place on top of the best-selling vehicle. I don't think anyone's going to touch them for many, 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 many years. And as I said, this Corolla is not the most exciting one to drive. It doesn't have the best looking or feeling interior even. I think the Honda Civic really has excelled for this newest version that they came out with. However, there's one thing that you just can't deny, is that 50 million people can't be wrong. So, you know what? It is what it is. The Corolla is here, it's here to stay, and they're going to sell a ton of them. And if you want to save the most amount of money in your pocket, grab the hybrid. Hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next review. Bye.